There is news circulating on the web that the Russian government will be buying 1.2 million bitcoins to diversify their US dollar dominated reserves. Can this be true, or is this just fake news? If it's true, and why would the Russian government want to diversify into Bitcoin? When will they start doing so? When it happens, will this have any significant impact on the Bitcoin price? We would like to share our unbiased opinion of this news report at the end of this video. If you want some interesting answers to these questions, then I highly recommend that you continue watching this video. Before our main story, here are this past week's top gainers and the top losers. Here is the breakdown of the current cryptocurrency market cap. Before the main story, here are the top 5 popular crypto news. Malaysia Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said on 14th January, after the Digital Currencies Order 2019 will be effective the next day, that is on the 15th January. Any person operating unauthorized initial coin offerings or digital asset exchanges could face a 10-year jail and 10 million ringgit fine if found guilty doing so. The actual framework regulating ICOs and tokens will be in place by end of the first quarter of this year. The hacker responsible for 51% attack against Ethereum Classic returns $100,000 worth of Ethereum Classic to the exchange that was hacked. It is unclear the actual reason why the hacker returned the stolen ETC. However, it is popularly assumed that the hacker is a white hacker and was trying to prove the vulnerability of a less dominant altcoin, which is susceptible to a 51% attack. What do you think? The SEC of Thailand announced that Thailand's Ministry of Finance has approved 4 cryptocurrency exchanges. They are BX, Bitcub, Coins, and Satang Pro. This approval is an indication that Thailand intends to become a cryptocurrency player in Asia alongside crypto-friendly nations such as Japan, Singapore, Thailand, and Hong Kong. These countries have been establishing blockchain hubs. Bitmain, the prominent Chinese Bitcoin mining hardware manufacturer, has announced earlier this week that they are to replace the 2 co-founders Jihan Wu and Zhan Ketua with a new CEO, Wang Haichao. Wang Haichao is currently its product engineering director. According to NASA's official website, it is published that NASA has indicated to launch a blockchain intended to manage air traffic control. This blockchain system will be applying the Hyperledger fabric. The intention of this innovation is to enhance security and privacy to the important air traffic communications. Now for our main story. Vladislav Ginko is a public administration in Moscow who also happens to be a lecturer at the Russian Presidential Academy of National Economy. According to him, the Russian government will start buying Bitcoin with its reserves as a way to mitigate the fresh and future rounds of US sanctions. This event, he predicts, will start from February of this year. According to Ginko, he has been persuading the Russian officials to pursue Bitcoin as the best alternative to reduce the impact of the US-led sanctions. It should be noted that he has been invited to appear on Russian state TV and radio to provide economic commentaries, which he may have mentioned these. It is worth noting that Russian President Vladimir Putin has recently mentioned that there is obviously instability in the world finance system as it is US dollar based, hence a need for Russia to explore alternative reserves assets which include alternative store of value assets and currencies. Vladislav Ginko predicts that the first wave of crypto investments should start in February at both the government and private levels. It is for evident reasons that Russia has been slowly moving away from the dollar. First and foremost, US has politically and in military show of might been antagonistic and hostile towards Russia. Russia elites and Kremlin have been worried that their US currency-based foreign reserves will be affected or be in some ways frozen. Saying so, if we are to look into Russia's US Treasury holdings, its trend has been on the reduction. Since March of 2018, these US Treasury holdings have dropped from $96 billion to $14 billion 6 months later. This reduction trend should continue as long as US continues to be hostile towards Russia. Globally, several countries have been hit by US-led sanctions. Among them are Venezuela, Iran, and others. For that, Russia definitely is one of the countries which, being hit by these US sanctions, is looking for reserve alternatives, including that of Bitcoin being a possibility. Just looking at its gold stockpile, Russia has recently increased its gold reserves dramatically only recently. Russia recently bought around 92 tons of gold. This is around $3.8 billion worth of gold. The total stockpile is approximated to be a total of $85 billion or 2,066 tons of gold. There are beliefs circulating around that besides gold, the Russian government could possibly create its own government-backed cryptocurrencies for this purpose. This idea is very doable as it is easy for any government or even companies to start its own tokens or cryptocurrencies, since cryptocurrency and token programmers are easily available. These tokens can easily be backed by the Russian government. An example of such a concept is the Venezuelan government starting its Petro crypto, which is supposedly backed by barrels of crude oil. However, this idea may seem not reliable as increasing number of people know that a government-backed cryptocurrency will not be truly decentralized and could possibly be manipulated. Saying so, there is a chance that the Russian government may not want to consider creating a cryptocurrency for the purpose of diversifying its reserves. The Russian government most likely will understand that they need to only diversify its reserves into assets which are more reliable, such as Bitcoin. If Russia was to really announce either discreetly or indiscreetly that it will diversify its reserves into Bitcoin, this potentially can create the FOMO or fear of missing out at the government level. If Russian government was to lay their hands onto Bitcoin and start buying 1 million Bitcoins, the other countries such as Korea, Japan, China, and other governments will start having fear of missing out mentality. They will not just sit back but will start buying up Bitcoin as well. This FOMO at the government level will certainly trigger Bitcoin price to go very bullish. As a conclusion to our main story, here are our opinions on the credibility of this news. We would say it would most likely be true that Ginkgo had been trying to persuade the Russian government to diversify into Bitcoin. The Russian government would want to diversify out of US dollars derivatives due to the increasing sanctions. On the idea that Russian government will initially consider starting its own government-backed cryptocurrency and diversifying its reserves into it instead of Bitcoin, we find this not plausible. On the timeline that the Russian government will start buying into Bitcoin as early as February this year, we believe that is fake news, but this may occur many years from now. We must not forget that at this juncture, the Russian government will not invest into non-regulated assets. It is probably after Bitcoin being a regulated asset that it will find itself being invested into as government reserves. A government-level FOMO will trigger in between different countries after the Russian government starts buying Bitcoin. This will send Bitcoin's price rocketing upwards. We find this most likely. If it's true that the Russian government was to buy 1.2 million Bitcoin or with $10 billion based on existing prices, the price of Bitcoin would spike above $10,000. This is through our estimated calculations. What are your views of these conclusions? Whether you agree or disagree, it will be great if you drop your comments in our description below. Before we end off this video, we would like to highlight that we will be testing the new BitClub Auto Trader. It is purported to be helping investors earn a monthly average somewhere between 10 to 30% monthly. Furthermore, it is safe as it uses the API key for remote trading of investors' third-party accounts such as Bittrex or Binance. Once our testing results are out, we will post the results in our future weekly videos. Therefore, please stay tuned for our weekly reports that we will start publishing soon. We hope you have liked our video. It will be great if you could give this video a thumbs up. If you have any opinions, please share your comments below. Until the next video, have a fantastic week ahead.
Blockchain 360